Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Washington Hebrew Congregation. We are so happy to be here with you on this first Shabbat of our secular New Year of 2023. Shana Tova to everyone. It's okay to say Shana Tova. It means a good year. Happy New Year.
You should know that in our clergy text chat, that when New Year's came around, Rabbi Miller joined in saying, "This one's so much easier than the last one."
Yes, and our President Lou Weiner sent us a cartoon of someone saying something about, like, it's 3 months late. That was 3 months ago. So I'm Rabbi Sue Shankman, joined by Cantor Susan Bortnick and Rabbi Eliana Fischel. We are so happy to be with you this evening and with our wonderful Macomb Street musicians.
Absolutely. We have David Ling on piano, Mave Sigalov on, you can applaud, that's okay. Mave Sigalov on violin, Joey Antico on percussion, and Daniel Brown on bass.
Beautiful. Lovely. We should. They lift up our worship so much. And we're here with each of you, with this beautiful community. And so you now know everyone who you're looking at on the bima, but you might not know someone around you. And so we're going to ask you to be a little bit brave and to either turn around or turn to your side, or you might even have to get up and find someone that you don't know, share your name, and share how you celebrated New Year's Eve. Yeah. Share your name and how you celebrated the New Year. All right. That's if I can tell you what to do. You can stay.
So the scariest part of being a clergy is when you let the congregation just start chatting. Because it's very hard to come back.
We're going to continue on page 12. L'chun Ranana.
On page 12 with L'chun Ranana, that's right. L'chun Ranana. Page 12. Naviya continue with Romemu on page 17. I meant to make that smoother and it didn't work because the prayer book was falling off my lap. Romemu, Romemu, Romemu.
And as we prepare to welcome Shabbat, it's a new year. You have to remember to turn the microphone on. I was on vacation. Yes, apparently the microphone was too. Thank you, Kim. And as we turn to Lecha Dodi, we prepare to welcome Shabbat, not just with these words, but with our hearts and with our entire being. We sing these verses 1, 2, 5, and 8, and when we get to, 1, 2, 5, and 9, I'll chalk it up to vacation, not to the fact that today I'm a year older. When we get to the final verse, we're going to rise together to face the doorway, symbolically welcoming Shabbat, and also welcoming anyone who might happen to walk in at that moment, who will feel truly welcomed, because we'll be smiling, hopefully we will. But as we sing these words, these verses, we recognize that these verses connect us not just to a sense of Shabbat, but to one another as a community. When we rise together, we rise as a community. We welcome Shabbat as a community, just as we've welcomed one another. So we turn to the words of Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi. Shamor v'zachor v'rivur
page 28.
As we turn to our prayer for creation, which you can find on page 30. I invite you to use this time to either read one of the prayers that are provided for you on page 30 or 31, or you can look out at the darkness that exists outside of our windows, imagining the national park that is right behind our building, and let the music of this prayer of creation that welcomes in the evening, let the music wash over you. And I also invite you to sing along if you wish. I invite you to join with me as we continue with Be'ahavta on page 36. Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
We continue on page 40 with Mi Chamocha, our people's song of freedom. As they crossed the Red Sea, they sang out, "Who is like you, Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai." We come here this evening to celebrate Shabbat, and mainly we come here in joy to be with community. And as we turn to page 42 for our prayer of shelter and protection, we're also reminded that of the date today of January 6th, that just 2 years ago we did not feel very sheltered or very protected, and that it felt different and unsafe for our government and for those who lead our government. And particularly also this week, when perhaps our government could use a little extra prayer, it feels all the more so necessary for us to do a prayer for our government right before we do this prayer of shelter and protection, praying to God that will never happen again, and that those who lead our country will remain safe. And so I offer this prayer by Rabbi Alden Salovey for our leaders. Yikum Perkan Min Shemaya, let deliverance arise from heaven, bringing justice and enlightenment to the nations of the earth and to the leaders of the United States. Chine v'chesta v'rachamai, bringing grace, love, and compassion to the halls of power, the seats of government, the capitals of our world. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, may it be your will to grant the heads of state a new vision for safety and prosperity, friendship and cooperation, so that all may know the fullness of your blessings in a world of generosity and kindness, tranquility and peace. Hanotain teshua umem nosim. May you who gives redemption and governance to presidents reward us with political leaders with true vision and deep understanding of your instructions to rebuild and renew the earth so that economic, legal, social, and environmental justice may bear fruit for generations to come. And we say together, Amen. We join together in these last words on page 42, HaPoreis Sukkot Shalom. May a shelter of peace rain down on each of us.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We turn to page 44 with a different prayer of protection. We might not call Vishamru our prayer of protection, but in many ways it is, because Vishamru reminds us of the obligation, the covenant to celebrate, to observe Shabbat. And we know that Shabbat provides us a different type of protection than the one we just expressed our gratitude for, because it allows us, reminds us of the obligation to celebrate Shabbat. And we know that Shabbat brings with it an opportunity for us to take a step back from the world around us, to take the time to take care of ourselves, to rest, to be refreshed, just as God was in that first week of creation. And so as we head into this Shabbat, we are grateful for the opportunity once more to rejuvenate, to refresh, to celebrate.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, ha'asod et ha'Shabbat, lidorotam b'ritolam. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, ha'asod et ha'Shabbat, lidorotam b'ritolam. טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבניהם למען שמו ואהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחלקל חיים בחסד מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומרתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני הפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. And it's our tradition here at Washington Hebrew that when we join together for Shabbat, that we share in each other's joy. And so if you have a simcha to share that happened recently or will happen in the next few days, and that could be well, we're going to do birthdays in a second, so hold off on the birthdays. But if it's an anniversary or something awesome happened at work, or as I usually say, if you had a really great plate of French fries, what simcha do you have to share with our community this evening? And I should say that when we hear the simcha, we will respond with modim anachnu lach, which means we are grateful, because the thing about being in a covenantal community is that when one of us feels joy, the rest of us feel that joy as well. You have a simcha? Go for it. Amazing! Oh my goodness.
Modim anachnu lach.
Yes. For growing families, we say modim anachnu lach. Any other simchas? Yeah. That's super exciting. 5-year anniversary at job. For jobs that fulfill us and give us a lot of meaning, we say modim anachnu lach. Magnolia, you always have good ones. Yeah. Go for it. Mom's with you. Yeah. There's some discussion. We're not sure about it.
I have one.
Should we come back? All right, we're going to go to Rabbi Shankman, and then we're going to come back. Yeah.
So I had a surprise. One of my children came home who is not living at home and came to surprise me. And also, for some of you, this will make sense. For others, it might not. But today I had my 1,000th Peloton ride.
Amen. Very nice.
It's doable. Some of those are 5-minute rides, so many of them are 5-minute rides.
So for family, that does a lot to bring us happiness, and for keeping our bodies healthy and happy, we say modim anachnu lach. I'm going to come back to Magnolia one last time before we get to our birthdays. Wow, amazing. Mazel tov. And for new life in this world that is super cute and amazing, we say modim anachnu lach. And what a good transition. And your science teacher had a baby. Amazing. Amazing. Lots of babies. And what a good transition to our birthday blessings. I know many of you are here to celebrate your birthday, and we are so glad that you have chosen to be with Washington Hebrew to have that celebration. So I'm going to say names of people who told us it was their birthday, and they might be here, they might be on live stream, who knows? But also, if it's just your birthday, you can come up too.
Anytime in the month of January.
In the month of January, thank you.
Or if you want to come from the end of December, that's okay.
Jeannie Fleming, Mohan Mistry, Rabbi Michael Namath, Claire Planton, Bradley Pollock, Lynn Ross, Roberta Schneidman. You guys are coming up when I say your name. Roberta Schneidman, Antonio de la Serna, Rabbi Susan Shankman, if you can make your way up here. Elisa Weinberg, Rick Wohler, Hillary Kaplan, Jean Efron, and Marcia Pinson. And we're going to try to make some room here. Guys, this is an all-star month. Look at these. Oh, and Josh Gelper. We'll just keep adding. Beautiful. Come on up. Come on up. Goodness.
End of December
Come on
works.
up.
Absolutely.
Come on up. Exactly. Wow. Wow. So looking at these unbelievable faces, I can't help but realize that you all are born in some of the darkest time of our year. You're born in a pretty dark month. And that's amazing because each of you brings so much light. You bring so much light in all you do here at Washington Hebrew, but also in your lives, in your family's lives, in your community. I know this just from knowing you here, right, and knowing you well here, but knowing you here. But I am overwhelmed by the amount of light that this group of people brings out. And it's not our custom to call out one in particular birthday, but she is our senior rabbi. And so Rabbi Sue Shankman, the amount of light and blessing you give this community, thank you. Thank you. And so we're going to join together. We're going to join together in our blessing, thanking God for giving us life, but really giving you all life at this time in years past, and for sustaining us so we could reach this moment. By the way, that's 96 years for Roberta right here, to reach this, I know, amazing. To reach this moment with each of you in our community. Let's join together in the words of Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and allowing us to reach this moment with each of you who are a blessing to our community. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Lovely to see you. Is that a joke? For all of these blessings that we have in our life, we turn to page 59, and join together in this word of gratitude, thanking God for all of the blessings, for all of the anniversaries, for all of the work milestones, for all of the new beginnings, and for those little miracles of just waking up each morning and being able to live our lives and be here today. We say, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
And we turn the page, and we find our Birkat Shalom, our prayer for peace, which is not only a prayer for peace, but a prayer for wholeness, a prayer for that which completes us. And it is the last prayer that we recite together before we take some time for some silent prayer. And so as we turn to these words of Shalom Rav, we reflect on the blessings in our lives, which we'll touch on before we go into silent prayer, and we join in these words together.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Ancha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Ancha Tasim Leolam. Yatahu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki Atahu
in a moment, we're going to turn from our fixed liturgy to our own private, personal prayers that we have within us. And I want to take a moment for reflection, not just because it's my birthday and because I have the microphone, but because it is amazing to me how often life imitates Torah and Torah imitates life. And I say that intentionally, thinking about art, but also thinking this week as I lost one of my earliest teachers, my Aunt Judy, who died this week. And I had the real honor and privilege and blessing of remembering her and of sharing with my family and with my cousins as we laid her to rest. And I share that today because our Torah portion this week, Vayechi, is about the blessings that we take with us and the blessings that we leave behind. It's about the relationships. It's about being able to see each person for who they truly are. And my aunt was an educator who was ahead of her time, and she taught for over 50 years at our congregation. And I do have to share, yesterday I stood on the bima of the congregation where I became bat mitzvah, where Michael and I were married. And they talk about, you go back to a place where you had been as a child. I know some of you have not experienced this yet, Magnolia, but someday you will, maybe. And some of our other friends who may not have yet become bat mitzvah. But I stood on the bima, and when I got up there, I said it really felt smaller than it did when I was growing up. And that is because 5 years ago they did a renovation, and it is actually smaller than it was. I didn't have to stand on a step stool or anything. I still do here. And at the same time, the experience of walking through halls in which I had walked as a little girl. And actually, literally, I carried the Bible from our old building to that building when I was 3 years old. And to see names from the past, names of people no longer with us, but whose memories are still very much in my heart. To walk in a cemetery and see the names of my childhood and the names of my life, of people who had been a part of my life. And this week in our Torah portion, Jacob reflects on each of his sons. And we can get into whether or not he reflects on his daughter Dinah, but that's another conversation. But he also leaves a blessing behind. And this is the blessing we'll hear at the end of the service, the blessing we'll use over our children, the blessing that's recited each Shabbat and at other times as well. The blessing over Ephraim and Manasseh, Joseph's sons. And I just noted that Rabbi Fischel is wearing a rainbow tallis similar to Joseph. And when we think about those blessings, and as I'm thinking about these blessings, and certainly birthdays are a time for reflection, but a new year is a time for reflection, not just thinking about where we've been, but also thinking ahead to the future and thinking about what we're going to do with the time that lies ahead of us, the names that will come into our lives, and the name that we'll leave behind as well. And so on the Shabbat, as we turn to our private and personal prayers, we do something we don't do at Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, we reflect and we apologize. And we think about what we've done and how we want to be better. And the secular New Year gives us this opportunity to look ahead in a different way and to think about the things that we want to do as we get another fresh start on our calendar. So as we take a few moments now to turn from our fixed liturgy to our private and personal prayers, I invite you to think about the blessings of your lives, the names of the people who surround you now and continue to, the names of those not yet even here in this world, but who are going to come and be a blessing for each of us, and to think about how we want to provide blessing to the people who surround us each and every day, both the people we know and love and the people we may not know but who walk beside us. And so we take a few moments now for our personal and private prayers. on page 253, we turn to a communal prayer for healing and wholeness. And we think of those in our lives who are in need of healing, whether of body, of mind, or spirit. And so as I look around the congregation, I invite you to share the name of someone you are thinking about out loud, or you can keep that name privately in your heart. If you're joining us on live stream, you can certainly feel free to share the name aloud, and I will invite you, as well as those who are seated here as well, to also follow up with us to make sure that we heard the name of the people we're reciting this Misha Berach on behalf of, so that we can make sure that we too reach out to them. And so as I look around, I invite you to share names of anyone in need of healing. Page 253, we join together. There is a famous folktale in our line of work about a congregation who had an interesting ritual during Hakafah, during the moment in the morning service when you take a Torah and walk it around the synagogue to the community. And there was a guest that came, or a newcomer that came to this random community, who knows the name of it, and they were watching the Hakafah, and they realized that when they get to the middle of the room, the person standing with the Torah goes like this, and then keeps walking. And, you know, the newcomer thinks it's kind of weird, but moves on, comes back the next week, and they do it again. Halfway through the Hakafah, with the Torah, goes like this, and keeps walking. Following week, same thing happened. So finally, this newcomer, she turns to the person next to her and says, "Can you explain what's going on there? Like, why do you duck? It looks like you're ducking. Like, why do you bend halfway through the Hakafah?" And the person next to her says, "What do you mean? That's how we've always done it. Isn't that what you do?" And she was like, "No, I've never seen that before." What do you mean? And so at Oneg later, after services, at Kiddush, they start asking around. And they're asking, and no one really knows why they do this. And then they get to sort of an older congregant who says, "Well, of course, we didn't used to be in this room.
And in the community that we used to be in, there was a low-hanging beam. And so when you walked, you had to duck or else the Torah would hit the beam, right? So this is how we've always done it. It really is a beautiful sentiment, right? Judaism is based on this is how we've always done it, right? This is how we've always done it allows us to have ritual. It allows us to have tradition. It allows us to have this service. And sometimes this is how we've always done it can be a little bit silly, right? And sometimes even it can be a little bit hurtful. It can be a little bit binding. It can stop us from being able to grow and change and be the person we want to be. The book of Genesis, which we actually close this evening, we're in the last parsha, or tomorrow, I guess, but we close the last chapter of Genesis today, is a book about this is how we've always done it. And this is how we've always done it in Genesis, if you're part of the families in Genesis, is not so great, is not so great, right? We have Abraham and Sarah who had Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac and Ishmael never really had a relationship. Abraham and Isaac's relationship was okay, but then the whole sacrifice thing, and they never spoke again, right? Then Isaac had Jacob and Esau. They were enemies right off the bat, right? They reconciled towards the end of their life, but it was cordial, right? It wasn't love, it wasn't family. And then we get Jacob's family. We get Joseph and his 11 brothers, and they throw him into a pit. And sell him to slavery, right? This is how you've always done it. If you're in the families in Genesis, is a little bit tense, right? It's guarding ourselves and not saying what we really mean to our family members. It's protecting our own and not being gracious to the people that we love or the people that we care for. It's not a great model for family, and sometimes it's just doing what the generation before us has already done, and we just repeat it again and again. Many of us might be familiar with this idea of repeating what the generations before us have done again and again. I said this in early Torah last week, so excuse me for saying it again, but I just love it so much, that I heard about a therapist who tells their clients every single, right before the holidays, that they're like, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on therapy, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how long you've been in therapy for, if you're going home for the holidays, get ready to regress. It's gonna be great, right? That we go back to doing things the way we've always done it, particularly when we are with the people who raised us, particularly when we're with the people who love us most, right? It's at those moments when we often put up our guard a little bit more, or we start yelling when we don't usually yell, or we start being quiet when we're not usually quiet, and we go back to this is how we've always done it. So Genesis of this is how we've always done it, there's a clue in this week's parsha that says, wake up a second. This one's actually different. We actually change the pattern in this week's Torah portion, and we can tell because of something Jacob says. Jacob, in the beginning of the portion, is on his deathbed, and he has everyone gathered around him, and he turns to Joseph and says, Joseph, I didn't even pray that I would see you again, and here I am looking at your children. I didn't even pray that I would see you again, and here I am looking at your children. This is how we've always done it of Jacob's family meant that he didn't really think he would see Joseph again after there was a fight, right? Or after there was some literally bad blood between him and his brothers. Not to mention Jacob thought he had passed away, but it didn't even occur to him to hope because this is how we've always done it, right? Families don't reconcile in Genesis, and so why would this one? But yet, here he is seeing his grandchildren. He's the first person noted in Genesis to see grandchildren, to see how this cycle, when it's broken, can produce more life, can produce more love, can produce greater relationships. So what was it? What was it that changed? What was it that broke the cycle? What was it that could break our cycles, whatever they might be? And for that answer, we go back to last week's parsha, when Joseph's brothers have come before Joseph, not knowing that he's their brother, right? They come before Joseph as the right hand of Pharaoh. They come because there's been a famine, and they say to this right hand of Pharaoh, please help us, we need some food. And Joseph, overcome with emotion, reveals himself as Joseph, right? I sort of imagine him like taking off a mask, which I don't think pharaohs wear masks, and he's not the pharaoh. But anyway, right? But somehow he reveals himself to his brothers. For the first time in Genesis, Joseph allows himself to be Joseph. He cries. He cries a lot in that parsha and says, "This is who I am. I am your brother who you threw into a pit." How vulnerable. I am your brother who probably feels really insecure to be around all of you who did that to me, right? I am your brother who has power now and is really unsure how to yield this power around these 11 people who threw them into 10, I guess, who threw him into a pit. And now how do you deal with that? He was honest with them. He was honest about who he was and what he needs. And he was just who he was in that moment and expressed what he needed in that moment. If we want to break the "this is how we've always done it" of our lives, we need to start peeling back the mask. We need to start revealing who we are and what we need. What would it be like to, instead of immediately yelling or immediately retreating, we say, Eliana, I'm feeling sad right now. When you say that to me, I feel sad. What would it be like to actually say that out loud and to break the assumption that the other person knows you're sad because you're sad, right? What would it be like, particularly in this new year of 2023, if we were to own a little bit of our loneliness and to share and to say that we're going to break the cycle of loneliness that actually statistically each one of us has? We're going to break that cycle of loneliness, and we're going to take a leap of faith and actually call a friend. We're going to call someone and either say, "I'm feeling lonely," or just say, "Hi, how are you? I was thinking of you." That's how we break these cycles of "this is how we've always done it," and how we can bring back these relationships and a deeper connection to those we love. The book of Genesis is a book of "this is how we've always done it," and thank God for it. It's what got us here. Right? It is the origin for who we are as a people and who we are as a religion and as a faith. And this little bit at the end of Genesis tells us that if we were to only do things as "this is how we've always done it," then we haven't fulfilled the promise. We haven't fulfilled the destiny that Genesis allows us to do. That we have to be able to also reveal ourselves, to also say, "This is what I need in this moment in time in who I am, and this is how I'm going to realize that." At the end of each book of Torah, we say, "Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek." Strength, strength, and we will be strengthened. As we continue in this secular year of 2023, let us break the cycles of "this is how we've always done it." Let's make sure that we are revealing ourselves in our authenticity and saying what we need and what we want to those we love. And when "this is how we've always done it" gives us joy and happiness and ritual and tradition, let's celebrate it together in community. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We turn to the bottom of page 282, and we rise as we reflect on that obligation to break the cycle, to repair the world, to work together to make this year, this world better. And we turn to the words of Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach Adon hakol, latet gerula liotze bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechohamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'mudim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'nei
You may be seated. For those who studied before services with me, we talked about the ways in which we can carry our loved ones with us as we go about this world. How we carry them with us when we see the pie that they used to make, when we see a word like a brand that is the same as their name, when we hear ridiculous, very not funny jokes, but then now we think they're funny because they remind us of our people. And of course, that we carry them with us when we honor their values and what they stood for, when we honor who they were and the ethics and morals that they stood for, and that we behave that way. And so today, Washington Hebrew remembers Lillian S. Alberts, Leon Pincus April, Louis Bennett, Mitzi Bernstein, Daniel C. Beta, Ben Bindeman, Lillian Block, Arthur Block, Benjamin Mark Borkin, David C. Buchalter, Beverly M. Burtnick, Herman Mikovsky, M. Marvin Cohen, Mary Daneman, Alan Dessoff, Leon L. Douglas, Joseph D. Dreyfus, Geraldine Dubin, Charles B. Dulkin, Daphne Dwankowski, Paul Eisman, Julian Feldman, Brian N. Fishman, Beverly Footer, Leona Frank, Sam Friedman, Rosa H. Goldenberg, Paul Goldstein, Harriet Gordon, Michael Gordon, Sylvia Adelsman Goss, Herman Greenblatt, Janet Forking Green, Dora Haas, Dora Minovich Hirschman, Dorothy Gartman Janoff, Lester Jason, George J. Joseph, Samuel Johnson, Edward W. Katz, Rachel Katz, Pearl A. Katzman, Harry M. Kaufman, Philip Kaufman, Jacob Kimbrigg, Anna Rose King, Gilberta Klein, Marion A. Klepech Kraskin, Barnett Krieger, Harvey David Kushner, Robert Ladd, Molly N. Landsberg, Bernice H. Leben, William Lemmer, Henry L. Lillianfield, Melvin F. Lewis, Matilda Lyon, Dora Sam Malinoff, Frida Miller, Julius Max Millstone, Joseph B. Minovich, Stephanie Lynn Morris, Fanny Moser, Max Munchik, Isaac M. Neviezer, Frank A. Nigro, George Nordlinger, Lily Ottinger, Bruce G. Phillipson, Irvine Robinson, Priscilla Rose, Stanley B. Rosenfield, Sarah Miller Rosenthal, Burton Samet, Ralph Schwartz, Annie Siegel, Jacques H. Siegel, Marcel Scofier, Robert Shapiro, Samuel Siegel, Evelyn Siegfried, Addie Sigmund, Jesse Snyder, Alexander S. Strauss, Michael Suritz, Adolf von Stondig, Janet Kampner Weiss, Abraham Winkelstein, Fanny S. Winkelstein, Robert O. Wolfe, John Fisher Zeidman, Francis Gold Zuckerman, Max Swag, Michael D. Schumann, and those recently laid to rest: Alan Berg, Alan Lang, Judith Cossack, Marilyn Squire, Harris M. Kenner, Regina Hochhauser, Chuck Becker, Francine Goller-Levine, Gerald Goldberg, Suzanne Zamoyski, Geraldine Munzer, David Kentoff. If I've inadvertently mispronounced the name of your loved one, or if you have another name to add to our memorial this evening, I ask that you share that name out loud with our community. We join together on page 294 and rise for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach leolam u'lalmei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and we say together, amen. You may be seated.
So we want to thank you again for joining us this evening. And there are many, many wonderful ways for you to join Washington Hebrew over the coming weeks to celebrate with us and to engage with us. And so we want to tell you about just a few of those. The first is this coming Sunday morning. We will be having coffee and bagels with Lou Weiner, our WHC president, followed by an AMRAM Scholar Series, which will take place here in the chapel with Graciela Machkovsky. I've been trying to say, that's the way it's Machkovsky. Sorry, she tutored me on it. I'll get it right by Sunday morning. So we hope that you'll join us for both of those events.
And on Tuesday evening, we're starting a 4-week series, which is a deep dive on gender, sexuality, and Judaism. I'm teaching it along with Cantor Hamstra, and we are just so excited about the subjects that we're covering. We are looking at the creation of gender, feminism, LGBTQ rights and rights, RIGHTS, RITES, as well as bodily autonomy. So we hope to please sign up. Dinner is included in your registration, and it's from 7 to 9 on Tuesdays.
And next Friday evening, we will be celebrating our annual MLK Shabbat with the community. We hope that you will join us for that very special service. We'll be joined by a number of churches and mosques and others from the community, and we will. It'll feature our keynote speaker, William Brooks, who has spoken here before, always inspiring, and is going to speak with us about, as we think about the reality of the world around us, how we as a community, and not just our Washington Hebrew community, but how we can really come together as a community to help change our world and to change the way that we as a community welcome and also work together to create a better world. And so we hope that you'll come and join us on Friday evening and be inspired, and then we know you'll be inspired, so we hope that you'll join us. And then we also hope you'll join us in welcoming and be here representing Washington Hebrew and welcoming our guests from the community. And then again on Monday morning on MLK Day for our day of service, when we will work together in lots of different ways that will make a difference in people's lives right here in our area. So we hope that you will join us then as well.
There's lots more happening at Washington Hebrew. There's a QR code and on your this week, and you can look at our website for more information. Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by doing our blessing over our wine, by doing our Kiddush, and we really increase that joy by inviting up all of the children in our community to come up and bless our Kiddush with us. And I know Cassie has a particular
job. If you are under 13,
job.
Come join us.
If you're under 13, come join us.
No, that's okay. You can
And escorting someone.
Yes. Anyone. It's all right.
And if you feel like you are under 13 at heart, you can also join us.
Come, grab it. Go ahead. You can grab one.
Grab one. No.
You want to hold this big one?
Okay, here. Careful. No.
We join together on page 5. Oh, you're desperate to drink. I see it. Wait. Okay. That's okay.
Hold on, Cassie.
No, that's okay. She's drinking slowly. It'll still be some at the end. It's all good.
Sing
You can
fast.
drink throughout the whole Kiddush. Go for it. We join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu, v'shavar kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon hinhilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha'shabbat.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And we invite up another child of our community, not so much a child anymore, to join us for motzi before we bless our children.
Will you go help Isabel with the challah?
Cassie's doing double duty, apparently.
She's not putting down that juice, I understand.
All right, perfect. It looks like there's some challah already taken out of it. Wasn't me. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'te'avon. All right. And
We're going to bring that challah back.
But we're going to keep
Dan's
our
already
kids.
got his gloves on so that we can make sure everybody can have a safe taste of challah after.
And we're going
And-
to take this opportunity to bless some of the most important people in our room today and some of the most important people in our lives, our children, our future. And so we say these ancient words of blessing, thanking God for each of your presence.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God shine divine light upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God not only shine upon you, but through you, and may you bring the gift of peace to the world, and may you in turn receive peace as well. And we say,
Amen.
We
Shabbat
join
shalom.
together our
Shabbat
concluding
shalom.
song, Oh, say shalom.
Shalom.
Oh,